Hi everyone, you see this in the post this morning. It's a Kickstarter that I backed a while ago by Magic Meeple Games. They previously had a Kickstarter called Dark Rocket Ventures, and this one is called Fire of Eidolon. As you can see, there's some really nice artwork within the game. It's based on sort of 16-bit SNES RPG style games. It's a cooperative game for 1 to 6 players. It plays in about half an hour or so. Very quick setup, about 5-10 minutes, something like that. So what we'll do is we'll have a quick look inside the box and how it plays, and I'll come back and tell you what I think. Okay, we'll just do a quick playthrough so you can have a basic understanding of how the game works. Without going too much into the lore of the game, although to be fair there's not a huge amount of backstory, what's happened is your heroes have come into this tile here which represents the entrance to the dungeon. There's a portal there in the middle of it. This dungeon is in the void, so that explains why one of the mechanics you'll see later is that these tiles can disappear into the void, and that's the sort of explanation behind that. And why you're here is to find the Fire of Eidolon in one of these rooms and then get it back to this portal and get out of dodge, basically. So the first thing that you do is you choose a character. There are 12 characters that come with the game. The two that we've got here are this one, which is basically a rogue character. Now every character on their character sheet has 2 skills over here. This top one here is a skill they can use whenever they wish, and this one here is a one-time deal. Basically, you use this once per game. In the centre here you have the character's attributes, which are strength, dexterity, intelligence, and also the number of action points they get per turn. And over here is just a reminder really of what actions you can take per turn and how many action points that will cost you. So using this character who is a rogue, and this character, Cecilia, who is a paladin, and as you can see she's got 2 different skills here and her attributes are different. And so it's important to have a good mix of these attributes, which you'll see because it's one of the mechanics of the game, and it's important to make sure that you don't have characters that are the same. So the idea of the game is to go through this tile deck here, which has various different dungeon rooms in, and you have to find the Fire of Eidolon. There it is. But before you can take it, you need to find these rooms. And these rooms have what's called dark relics in them. Now, Vorax, as you may be able to see on the bottom here, is a sort of big bad, basically, and these hold his heart, his focus, and his knowledge. So the idea is you find these dark artifacts, you flip them over, we'll see the mechanic of doing that in a moment, to these sides, so they're broken in effect. And then you have, the Fire of Eidolon is released, say, from its force field or whatever it's in. You then can take this token back to the start of the dungeon, and then you win the game. Now on your turn, each hero has, in this case at least, three action points, and clearly we've just come in, so we need to explore the dungeon. So you spend 1 action point and decide which of the doorways you want to explore through. So for example, if we go through this doorway, we've let's go through the bottom door actually, so we can keep them right way up. The character moves through, and we're in a new room. Now you can see that this tile has a blue border, so that means within here is a intelligence token. We've just put out some others as well. So again, this one's also intelligence. This one is dexterity, so that you get a dexterity token, and let's see if we can find a strength, and this one is strength. Now what ultimately you need to do is, as well as finding the rooms I just showed you, is that for each one of those dark relics you need to collect 6 of each coloured token. So the heart requires you to have 6 red or strength, focus needs you to have 6 dexterity, and the knowledge needs you to have 6 intelligence tokens. So when you move in, so the characters explored, come through to here, there's an intelligence token, and this is where their attributes are important. because you can see for the rogue here, to pick up that intelligence token, they have to expend 2 action points. So in this case, she expended 1 to search, and that allows you to also move into the room. It's 1 action to come in, and 2 to pick up the token. So then you would put that onto her card, and she's collecting the tokens. As you can see, for a paladin, they're also 2 action points. But for dexterity, they require 3 action points to pick up the token, and strength is 1. Whereas a rogue, as you expect, it's got very high dexterity, so it's only 1 action point for that. So that's the idea of the game. You continue to search through the rooms, picking up these tokens, and that's what happens on the hero's turn. But as you'd expect, the heroes don't get it their own way, so the cultists also have their own turn as well. The cultists also get a turn, and what happens on that turn is that you refer to this part of card over here, which is called the ritual deck. And what this is doing is it signifies that the cultists are undertaking a ritual in this particular dungeon room. So you look to see if the room is already out, the tile is already out. If it isn't, that's fine. You just put the card down in the discard pile to be put back in the deck once it's shuffled. If it is out, then you put one of these tokens on the tile to denote that there is a ritualist, a cultist in that room undertaking a ritual. And then that's it. They go back to the hero's turn. If ever you take a card off of here and the tile already has a ritualist in there, if you have to put 2 of those on, this room disappears into the void, and so does any tokens that are on it. And the issue there is, as I said earlier, you have to collect 6 of each colour token. And there are only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of those out. So if you, in total. So if you lose a couple, you're sort of getting close to the edge of not being able to get enough tokens. So that's one of the ways that you can lose the game, being that you can't collect the number of tokens that you need to collect, to break the 3 dark relics that you need to break. Another way to lose is that the rooms are disappeared into a void, so therefore you either can't get back here, or you can't get to the rooms that have dark relics in, because once you've collected your 6 tokens, you have to move into the room and spend an action and your 6 tokens to break it. So again, if that's in the middle of nowhere, you can't get to it, you've lost. Another way to lose is this track here. So every time you go through the deck, every time you break one of these relics, you move this threat level up. And what this is showing you here is how many cards you need to take off of the ritual deck for the cultist turn. So you can see once you're up to here, they're coming out very quick, and you could lose your way back to safety. But if you ever get to the top of the track, then you automatically lose. So hopefully that gives you a brief understanding of how this game works, and just a quick look at the artwork. Let's just go back, and I'll now tell you what I think of the game overall. As you would have seen from the playthrough, really nice artwork, really good pixel art. There's some characters in there inspired by Link, and also Final Fantasy VII, and some good callbacks to sort of older games. It does play very similarly in a way to Forbidden Island. It has that tile laying mechanic, and also the fact that tiles can disappear into the void in this game rather than be underwater. But I think the gameplay is different enough that you could own both. I own both, and I think that's fine. There are some scenarios within this game that change up the gameplay quite a bit. There's also 12 different characters, which again have different skill sets and change up the gameplay quite a bit as well. I would thoroughly recommend this game, particularly to people who have families, and perhaps people who want to play games with non-hardcore gamers. It's very simple to explain. It's a lot of fun. I think children would like it. Overall, definitely recommended.